Welcome to the TheLanCave, where we're living as nerds. I'm Patrick, joined by Owen.
Happy New Year. May 2022 be your best yet, as they say.
We're almost there. Almost there, just around the corner. It is the last episode of the year for us, and I think it's been an interesting year. I realized I've not played near as many games as I thought I had when I looked at my list of games that came out in 2021. So we're going to be, at the end of this episode, we're going to be talking about our top games of the year, and I realized I haven't played as many new games this year as usual. I still filled out my list, but some of them were on there because I was only I was picking my favorites. I didn't want to pick something that I hadn't played, that kind of thing.
Right.
But
yeah, I tried to do my best to make those lists with the year in mind, but I looked at my list and I played 67 games this year. Now, most of the ones on my list, I think 9 out of 10 games did come out this year, but I've kind of given up focusing on the year at hand, except for some of the things that obviously stand out, and games are going to stand out because they came out and I bought them and played them because of FOMO and everything. But this is also a year that we kind of rediscovered our backlog and started working on that a bit more, and that's something that I want to carry into the next year also. So moving forward, as long as this show's going, there's probably going to be those moments of just older games that pop up because I never played them before.
Yeah, no, I completely get it. I'm actually, speaking of that, let me switch it up right over here. I am playing more Tribes, but I am playing some Breath of the Wild. I booted that up on my new SWOLED, and it's pretty. It's not, next gen obviously, but it's pretty on there. But I'm playing this because I know it's not going to be anytime soon, but I'm already getting that Zelda hankering. So I've actually started playing it the end of last week. I've gotten three of the temples done already, whatever you can call them, guardians. And I'm probably gonna finish the 4 and then just try to do everything by the time Breath of the Wild 2 comes out, and not rush it, but just be oh, I'll pop in and let's find another shrine, let's find some more Korok seeds, just so I can keep my appetite wet for Breath of the Wild 2, which I think there was a rumor earlier this week that came out that, or of course there's always rumors, but a rumor that Nintendo was looking at, I think it was November of 2022 is what they're slated. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I don't know. Nintendo rumors are always going to grain of salt. I'm predicting 2022 anyway. There's some people that think that it might be pushed to 2023, but I think it's been in development long enough. I think they did run into the code problem that everybody did.
Yeah.
I honestly think it was supposed to come out in March. Or it was supposed to come out with the SWOLED this year. I think that's a possibility also, and it didn't happen, and I think March would have been a great time for it to happen in 2022, because that's when Breath of the Wild came out. That would have been 5 years later, but that's just not going to happen, and as it turns out, I don't need any more games coming out in February or March, so I'm absolutely okay with it. I need to start a fresh save, though. I got the SWOLED 2, and I'll be honest, other than Metroid Dread, I haven't touched my SWOLED in 2 or 3 weeks. One, because I'm still waiting on my Zen grip to come in. I just can't play on those Joy-Cons anymore. It's just, it's too hard. I should have just bought the Ergo Joy-Cons. I should have just brought the Ergo Joy-Cons, but I want the Rumble because I'm a little brat like that. But the other reason is because I'm still playing Halo.
Yeah.
I'm still playing lots and lots of Halo. I'm playing the Halo campaign right now. I've been really missing the multiplayer because I can't just dip in and out. I need to play this campaign, otherwise I'm never going to finish it. So I asked somebody this today. I was like, this just happened to me. How far am I? They're like, you're probably around 70% through the story.
Okay.
Which means that I could have beaten it already because the story is so simple. If it wasn't for all the stuff on my map, dude, every time I go unlock a new base, it's oh, go pick up a Spartan Core, go pick up a a skin for multiplayer. Go rescue these people, and I have to do it. I can't not do it. There's
The Witcher all over again.
There's only one that I haven't picked up, and it's literally because I don't know how to get to it. I looked all around. I looked for like an entrance to the rocks. Like I just couldn't do it. And that means okay, fine. I'm comfortable leaving that one behind.
Yeah. So it's like The Witcher all over again for you.
Yeah, except not quite as bad because there's not a million quests tied to them. They're one and done. So they put it on the map. You complete it. It doesn't make something else pop up. Generally speaking, it just is the next, it just goes away.
Yeah.
So it's not as bad as The Witcher. Plus, it's more fun to play as The Witcher.
I'll agree. Like that's what I liked. I've installed Witcher 3. I was gonna put it on there, but I wanted to be honest. I installed Witcher 3 because I intend to go back and give it another try. The lore is great. The stories are great, but the gameplay isn't. It's like you've got Skyrim when it comes to gameplay. You've got Skyrim and then Witcher, and Skyrim's combat isn't very great. So I feel like Witcher's not even as good as that. I feel like it could be better. It's not terrible. It's just like the bar is set so high with the story and everything else that the combat's not tight enough. I think I'm spoiled by the more recent Arkham-style combat games and any of the Souls-like, where the combat's really, really tight, and not so much on Witcher. It's not, like I said, it's not terrible, but I feel like that's why I don't want to go pick it up. That's why I don't want to. Yeah. Why I'm not gravitating to play it, because I'm not getting that satisfaction out of the gameplay. But the story is great. No. I think the story is better than Skyrim.
I'll probably never touch it again. The story on Halo is not good, but it's so fun to play that you don't care. I'll talk. I don't know, maybe more about the story once both of us have played it. It's probably something that we won't really get into on the show, but the game is so daggone fun to play.
Yeah, and it looks like it. I will play it. I've been hooked on Tribes, but I will be playing Halo because I just keep hearing good things about it. I would love for that split screen co-op to come out at an update, because then I can play it with the wife. But until then,
I honestly don't know if they're going to be able to get it done. Like playing it, how much loads of the world, I just don't know how they're going to do it unless they like cut out like, I don't know, 4K mode or something like that. I haven't figured out how they're necessarily going to accomplish it, because you can play right now split screen multiplayer, because they're in smaller arenas. There's a max level of players that can be loaded into the map, whereas this is a lot, and the game remembers surprisingly a lot of things. Like I'll die, or I'll like fast travel somewhere and reload my guns, fast travel back, and if I do it in enough time, the same dead body might be there where it was.
No, that's cool. That's cool.
By the way, I never do anything this cool.
I know
none of these super cool things ever happen.
Yeah, I would say, like, I wish that, so not that I wish that she liked multiplayer, but unfortunately she doesn't like multiplayer unless it's multiplayer like campaign. I don't mind some multiplayer. I like multiplayer cooperative. Even if it's a team versus a team, as long as the team is big enough for other people to cover for me not being that great, then I'm like I love Battlefront, like playing Star Wars with a large enough team that I don't feel like I'm slacking. I can get a kill every now and then. I don't feel like I'm like holding the team back. 4v4, and when it gets to 2v2 or 4v4, there's no way, because it's very apparent. You can see it. You can see very easily, like, oh, this guy's not holding up his end of the bargain, and then I feel like
I get mad at those people.
Yeah. See, that's why I don't.
I'm not the person that talks crap inside the mic, like, dude, Patrick, why you suck. But at the end of the game, I'm like, well, of course we lost. We had a guy who had 1 kill.
And that's why, it's another reason why it's like, and I know there's the whole get good aspect, like, and I played a lot of Battlefront, and I wasn't great at it. I got better, but I still, like, if it was one of those smaller teams, then it was very, you could easily, spot the weak point in the chain. And I know it is better when you play with people that you know on voice chat. Being able to communicate is a lot better. I keep having times where I come on, and the PS5 having the microphone built into the controller is great. It sounds terrible, but it's great because everyone playing a PS5 game has a microphone right there. But I know I've been playing Tribes, so I've been trying Tribes online. I'm playing, there's 10 people in the game with me. No one's talking. I'm asking questions. I'm like, hey, I'm doing this. Does anyone want to help? Hey, I'm dropping off this. Does anyone want it? No one's talking. They're taking my stuff.
Is that an in-game comm system?
In-game voice, yeah. In-game voice chat.
Like in terms of, well, I mean, like a tagging system, similar to like what got introduced in like Apex and then later on in Fortnite stuff, where you could tag certain items and just say like, hey, I need this, without actually having to talk.
No, there isn't a way to do that. There's a ton of resources, so that may be why, because like I think there's probably around 50 or so resources that can be on the map, depending on like if you're like getting it off an NPC or if something you're farming, like literally, finding like a node on the to mine out or something. But yeah, it's frustrating because I've had that happen repeatedly, and then I had one the other day where this guy with his I'd say like a 4-year-old kid and probably like a 1-year-old, and he's like a dad, like, playing, but he had his microphone on, and he didn't realize he had his microphone on, and I was telling him he had his microphone on, and I don't know, I mean, more power to him playing, with his kids, like, and being able to juggle that's cool. It's like, he didn't have his microphone on, didn't realize it, and you got one kid screaming, and that was annoying. So,
sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, like, nothing against parents, but it's more like if he knew he had his microphone on, then I guess I could call him names, but he legitimately didn't have it. He realized it, was embarrassed, and hit mute.
Sure.
Like, he was like, I didn't realize it was on by default. How do I do this? And then he hit muted. But yeah, but it's just frustrating. I love that the PS5 has that built in, though, because like I said, it doesn't sound good, but at least no one has an excuse. Like, everyone immediately can have voice chat going. So, you got to see Spider-Man this week, though.
Did.
Yeah.
Spider-Man. The movie's a little long for me, but it's honestly though, part of it, like, because I haven't been to the movies in 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out the last movie we saw, and I'm relatively sure it was either Episode 9 or Mary Poppins. One of those two movies, like within that same like couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Is when that happened. So I'm pretty sure that's the last thing we saw. Dude, why is there so many previews? Like, I understand tomorrow you gotta stick. Like, I used to work there, but I timed it. There was 24 minutes of previews. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
Like, there's no way I want to see all of these. Sure, I'll like add the Morbius, add I don't know. I forget, there was a couple other superhero-y type ones, but it was so dumb.
They played a trailer for the Batman. They played a trailer for the Batman. Yes. Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that, because that's technically the rival, but I don't think Marvel really cares.
No, they don't have any control over either. The companies are the people who like distribute it.
Yeah,
are the one that basically tell you there's a list from, at least it works the same way as it did 15 years ago. There's basically a list of required trailers, and then after that you can build kind of whatever trailer pack you want. So some people like to stick things on there. So like any big blockbuster movie like that, they're all going to be attached. But it was so long. The movie itself was pretty dope. It's, I would say, top tier MCU. I would say probably the best Spider-Man we've seen since Spider-Man 2. I would say, I don't know. I don't think it was my favorite MCU movie, because I think that there's still just some things in there where but overall, it was quite an enjoyable experience, and it's really hard to say anything without spoiling it. So I'll probably just leave it there. But I will say it's definitely worth seeing. It's worth avoiding spoilers for. It was very hard for me to do so. but I did it. I heard YouTube was spoiling it for a lot of people, and luckily I don't watch YouTube or consume any of that content. But I heard thumbnails were making it really hard to stay apprised. But definitely recommend it. Definitely enjoyed it. Definitely was, especially after Far From Home, and the fact that I didn't like Far From Home like at all. It was a great rebound for the MCU. It made me excited for what they're planning on doing with Doctor Strange next year, and then I'm curious to how Thor: Love and Thunder works into that as well. And I'm wondering if that happens, if now Thor is going to be happening as a result of what happens in Doctor Strange, as what happens in Spider-Man. Like there's what happened in Loki. Like there's definitely a world that they're building here. I'm excited about what WandaVision also is going to do for Doctor Strange as well. A lot of good stuff going on. It made me not as excited as Thanos and everything. I'm still not there yet. I'm still waiting for the reveal of like a big bad that makes me want it.
Well, they've revealed the big bad.
I at least think that they have.
Yeah.
Maybe. We don't really know.
Oh yeah, that's our big bad. They've already revealed it, and they've said it too.
They
Kang?
said that he's the, I don't know.
Kang?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's that. I mean,
I think if he is, that's really anticlimactic. But maybe they'll do it well. I think that's the tough part.
I'm holding out for like Kang being like, you know, kind of like with Thanos. Like you have Thanos, but you have a lot of other things that like filled out that, you know, that phase of, you know, mostly Loki, but other characters that were in there. I feel like we're leading to Galactus at some point. It's just a question of do we have, like, when are we gonna have that happen? But yeah. Kang is a very formidable foe, but they haven't done a great job of setting him up yet for people who don't know a lot about him. I think that's been a kind of a problem. But either way,
it was good. Go see it.
Yeah, very, very much so. Very much so. Let's hold up. Where am I? There it is. Let's watch the news.
Put an ad on the front page. Cash money for a picture of Spider-Man.
Yeah. So, if you didn't see this story, Logan Paul upset the internet like he usually does by creating this Game Boy Color table. I don't follow Logan Paul and know a lot about him, but I do know that he, like, you know, loves, like, actually does love the Game Boy and, like, Pokemon and stuff. So this was kind of a cool, like, you know, hey, I made a table thing. And everyone was, like, you know, raging on the internet. But didn't, I want to say there was, like, 60 million Game Boy Advances that were, like, created. And I'm looking at some of those. They don't look like... they don't look like official Game Boy cases. Like, I wonder if those are shells that, like custom shells that he, you know, maybe these were his throughout the years. Like, I don't know, but I don't know if the Game Boy, the guts of the systems are really in there, but that does look like a screen. But either way,
I mean, the thing about it is that they're his. But
they're his, yeah.
That's what honestly that came down to. So we don't actually have. I don't think the numbers actually exist for just Game Boy Color.
Okay.
Game Boy, they kind of combined Game Boy with Game Boy Pocket, Game Boy Color, so that is over 100 million. But as you can see, there's so many different variants. So some of those, I think one of those is definitely a rare one. I think that one, if you're looking at this image, the far right corner.
Oh, it is?
Or like the closest to us corner. Yeah. It's that top left. That top left is a rare one.
Hit that pause.
I think it's I don't know what it is, but it's rare.
This top left right here?
Yeah. The bottom row, 2 of those are. Middle row, those are all just different color variants. So there's like 3 or 4, but it's still the fact of the matter is he paid for them. He bought them.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like he was going to sell them or anything. And honestly, it's a pretty dope looking table. Like, I don't like this guy. This guy is very unlikable. His brother is very unlikable. Fight a real boxer for once in your life. Goodness gracious.
Well, that's right. It's his brother that boxes, right? It's not him. It's his brother? Yeah, okay.
He boxed Money Mayweather.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
In an exhibition, and he didn't look great or good or anything like that. And Money just played with him because he's a real boxer. But his brother doesn't fight actual boxers. He fights quote unquote professionally, meaning he uses professional rules. But he hasn't fought a single boxer who is a boxer by trade. He's fought like former MMA people, and MMA is great and awesome, but it's not boxing, and boxing is not MMA.
Those are two different skill sets.
Yeah,
as we've seen with Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, there's a reason why Floyd didn't get into the octagon, because he doesn't want to look dumb, because Conor would have embarrassed him if he wanted to.
Conor would have embarrassed him, but I also think Floyd would have gotten injured. Like, there's a high risk chance of being in the octagon.
That's very possible.
Yeah.
And so, honestly, seeing this, it doesn't bother me. I think it's a pretty cool table. I think that, you did just by dumping that like glue over it or whatever they did, or like turning it into, I don't know what the material is. A hard
I think it's an
substance.
epoxy. Yeah.
There you go. I think it looks dope. I would take that table. I don't. The only thing that doesn't fit for me is putting it inside of a Pokeball. I think that if you wanted to do that, it would have needed to be all Pokemon Game Boy Colors.
I gotcha.
Because to me, the aesthetic then doesn't fit. For it. But whatever.
It's his. Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. And like, well, you could say the same thing about like one of the very, very prominent, like one of the popular things for people to do if they have like an N64. There's an HDMI mod you can do for a like old school N64, and it's rather destructive, I would say. Like, basically, once you do it, like you've permanently, it's not like something you can plug in and unplug, but it's yours. Do whatever you want with it. Like,
I mean, I've seen tons of people take their Game Boy Colors and Game Boy Advances and famously change out the screen for a new, brighter screen, especially on Game Boy Advances. That's a big thing. Yeah, you can buy brand new shells for the innards, and I know that's famously done. I don't see people, every time somebody does that to a single one, they're like, oh, that's cool. After that, it really doesn't. Like, there's no way that this actually budge.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't like it. I don't think it's that big of a deal, just like you. But what I do think is a big deal is some stuff on Steam going on in regards to China. So people in China, under the colloquially called the Great Firewall of China blocking certain things, found they could no longer access the Steam store. So you can still access Steam, you can still play games in your Steam library, but you cannot access the Steam store. Digging further into it, or as people were looking further into it, it may or may not be a DNS attack that actually caused it. Did we get confirmation on that? Or I've just seen it may be, right?
No, nobody, because Valve hasn't said anything, and
Gotcha.
So I don't know when we're going to get it confirmed. As far as I know, it's also still not up. What you can do is that you can play, so anything that you already own while you're in China can be played.
Can you download?
I don't know. I know you can't buy, though.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing, is that the storefront is not working. So I would assume that your library works, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But it was definitely interesting at first. There was probably a thing of some people jumping the gun on what it was in terms of China banning it, because initially I reacted the same way, but later thinking about it, I'm like, they probably would have said something. Like, China probably would have said something, or Steam would have said something, and then sorry, the CCP says no, you can't buy games, or that's something that they would announce. Which, since Valve has not said anything, leads me to think it's more something along the lines of a DNS attack or some other type of hacking action.
Yeah, what I'm curious about when it comes to a DNS attack, and I won't go into the technical aspects of this or whatever, but usually if you're going to Steam, it was store.steampowered.com or whatever it is, if it's the same URL, then everyone would be affected because that URL resolves to the same IP. So unless in China, the client in China like resolves to a different, if they're going to like steam.c, was it ch or whatever the Chinese one is, that's when DNS could be a factor. So I don't know, but it could also be that the DNS servers within China cannot access it. That could be it, because I think China limits what DNS servers you can use too. So that could be it. But basically, if you're going to like google.com, it's always the same IP no matter what country you're in.
Right.
Yeah. So
it seems as still as of like yesterday, I think that it might still be down, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Gotcha. Could sucks. Hopefully
again,
we'll get
they're
some
not
more.
saying anything, and so the communication part is the hard part, and I don't know why they're not, other than maybe that China's involved.
Yeah. And like I hope that it's not the government doing it. And usually, like we said, usually the government like actually announces if they did something like that. In this case, they didn't. So
Right.
I guess we'll kind of wait and see if we ever figure it out. But yeah, it sucks for people in China that are actually wanting to like buy some video games. It's that time of the year, so
It's the most. I don't know. Do they celebrate Christmas?
some people
legit
do.
don't know.
I mean, as a culture, no.
Yeah.
As a culture, no. Overall, but I'm sure that some people. I mean, that's me as an American, like being like, I'm pretty sure they don't. But yeah, I know in Japan they have different Christmas
season though, so
people,
still people buy it. So.
Yeah, I know they celebrate in Japan in different ways, but not China, from my understanding. I've got one more bit of news.
Novelty Day, like Valentine's Day, according to Google.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. So
right now we're looking at your, or at least I'm looking at you. There it is.
Oh yeah, that's just you. That's just you. Sorry. So what I was going to switch to is our last bit of news before we talk about our top games for the year. And that's not what it was supposed to do either. I was going to switch Final Fantasy 16. Sorry, what's wrong with me? I don't know the video. I was thrown off. Sorry. Final Fantasy 16 has been delayed, unfortunately. The delay they said about half a year, I think is what they said, right? In their, I didn't have this queued up. I thought I did.
That's okay. Basically, that they were hoping. So Yoshi P or Naoki Yoshida, the director of 16, also the director of 14. For those who didn't know, basically said that originally he was going to have some news on the game by the end of this year, and that has been delayed, and that COVID-19 did delay the game's development by almost half a year. Obviously, the only reason I care about talking about this is because I can't wait for this game. I'm super excited about this game. I'm super excited about him getting to direct a single-player experience because, I've seen what he's done with a multiplayer experience in 14, and I'm just looking forward to seeing what he can do with this product as a single-player experience. So he's hoping for a bigger reveal now in spring of next year, which is fine with me. But based on the wording, some people are like now thinking like 2023. I still think it's next year. Yeah. They said things like refining some mechanics, fleshing out some individual battles, putting finishing touches on cutscenes, graphical optimization. Like those are all words to me that say this game is in good shape. Yeah. Like in terms of it's not done. Yeah. In terms of like the story and stuff, it says to me that we're in a decent place. So now I'm thinking late next year. Same thing with like Breath of the Wild type things. It's like maybe it was probably supposed to come out earlier in this year, but again, it's fine. We got plenty of stuff coming out next year. Give me a great fall. Final Fantasy 15 came out in December when it came out, so I'm perfectly fine with Final Fantasy Christmas. That's good for me. That sucks, but I'm glad that he was honest.
I think Yoshida looked at it and said, or I think Yoshida basically doesn't want to release a game that's not done, like certain like some developers have been doing, and was like, no, we're just going to delay the game. You know, updates and bug fixes, like sure, some of that can happen afterwards, but I think he looked at it and was like, you know what, it's not ready. Like they could rush and get it right, but they don't want to be a you know, CD Projekt Red, if you will, and release something and then. We're still waiting. We are still waiting for the next gen versions of those games.
And what's great is like, in terms of where this guy believes in quality, for those who don't know, the latest expansion, Endwalker, that came out a little earlier this year.
14, right? For Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, for 14. Yeah, it's one of the best rated. You know, I know it's a part of the game, but it got a 92 on Open.
Yeah.
So the dude knows quality in terms of gameplay. 14 has been famously dealing with server issues ever since Endwalker dropped, and also just most of the pandemic had some server issues as well. But that's another problem that he's been dealing with. The fact that he's, you know, running 2 games, and I know that he has a great affection for quality, and so. Whenever 16 is done, I believe in the product already. Just again because I believe in him, and so I'm more excited. Obviously, I wish we could have gotten it sooner. I think he intended, based on his wording, I think he intended for something to come out of the Game Awards. You know, he
like
said
the reveal
by the end of the year. Yeah, I think he wanted a reveal there, but that's fine. Give us a nice spring thing, do it during a PlayStation Direct, and you know, come out in November, December, and we good to go.
We've got time. We've got so many games coming out.
Anyway.
Yep. I mean, we got so many games coming out. I realized, and I put a note on there because, like, so that, you know, possibly coming out at the end of the year. March 18th, Stranger of Paradise is coming out. The Final Fantasy Souls-like game, which I did like. I played the demo and I liked it. So I've got Elden Ring and that releasing, like, you know, as a 1-2 punch. I got enough to do. You can delay it. That's fine.
Chaos.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait to play both of those. I feel like they're what I play. I mean, I hope Elden Ring is good because I'm trying not to get like overhyped. But I did play, you know, the Stranger of Paradise like demo was good. People like the Elden Ring demo, so like I said, I hope not to get too hyped. But those are coming out way too close to each other.
Wild trailer.
Well, I couldn't find the Final Fantasy one, so I was just like, throw some Breath of the Wild on here. All right, we can talk about something else. You know, let's talk about our top games of 2021. It didn't play the audio for you, did it? Until the end?
No.
It's too bad. That's too bad. It's the final countdown being played on an accordion. Had your clip thrown in there too of the NPC getting hit with the warthog. Gotta love it. So we want to talk about our top games of 2021. Excuse Breath of the Wild still playing up here. We're going to talk about our top games of 2021, of games that came out in 2021 that we played. I guess we'll kind of ping pong this like we usually do. I don't necessarily have an order for it.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I guess I kind of put it in order, kind of didn't, but I guess I'll just run with it. It's not
in no particular order.
Okay, I'll go as if mine is, but close. Yeah, it's whatever. My first one is The Medium, which I know that is lacking in some cases, but the game was so inventive, and I really enjoyed the way that they built the dual worlds that you kind of go between, of like the regular world and like the spirit world, bouncing between those. Really enjoyed that, and also really glad that this was on Game Pass, so I didn't have to buy it.
Yeah,
but
that's what I heard about it anyway, just because I heard it wasn't that great in terms
Yeah.
of the gameplay aspect of it, but you know, it made your top list, so maybe they're wrong. Or
Yeah.
you know, that's what games are subjective to.
And they're subjective. I also like the Man of Medan games, which, like, you know, objectively, the gameplay's okay.
There's no objective. Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm saying that as someone who likes those games. I'm like, the gameplay's not that great. The lip sync is not very good, but I like the story. So I'm a sucker for like branching storylines too. So,
Yeah.
so that's my pick of number 10. I guess we'll call it.
Yeah, again, mine's not in any particular order, but I will start with a game that did not come out this year. My favorite game, I only did 9 that came out this year, but my 10th game was a game that did not come out this year, and that was Hitman 1, or at least Hitman on PS4, that came out, I want to say, if I was guessing, 2016, maybe?
Yeah, I think 2016 or 2017. The trilogy that they've created with this has been
2016. Hey,
okay. There you go. There you go.
I have never played a Hitman game other than Hitman Go, which I went back and platinum this year.
I like it, but that's not a Hitman game.
I love Hitman Go. It's so good.
Yeah.
Such a great game. But I never played a Hitman game. Honestly, whenever you watch the trailers and stuff, it doesn't really speak to me at all. Like, there's just something about it where I'm like, this does not seem entertaining. And I'd never seen anybody play it or anything like that, but it was free at one point. I got it from like a PS4 or a PS Plus game where I think they gave me the first episode or something like that. I'm like, and everybody was talking about Hitman 3, and I was like, you know what? I know I own Hitman. Let's go play Hitman. See what the hype is about. And it turned out that my wife loved watching me play it. And so that
always
was
a good bonus.
That was a thing that connected, because it turned out that it was ridiculous, that there was just stupid ways that you could take people out. There was also like the ones where I just wanted to follow the mission or whatever, and I would just get upset getting caught. But I ended up buying 2 and 3. I played through all of 1. I think we got like halfway through 2. Yeah. And at some point we'll go back and play 3. She mentioned it the other day. But the best game that I played that did not come out this year, that I am really glad that I finally understand why people like it so much. But again, the trailers just don't really sell you. I think the next time a Hitman game comes out, they should really just let you like watch a mission or something in the trailer and just see how you can kind of go through it. But it's good stuff.
It doesn't show the humor in these, like the humor in the really unique situations.
It's like you're supposed to take it seriously, and you're not supposed to take it seriously at all.
The other ones you kind of were, but this one you weren't. Funny enough, my number 9 or whatever, the next one for me, it also did not come out this year. Kinda, it's the remake. It's the remake. So I mean the remake of KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic, and love it. It's still, it looks
Switch,
dated. Right? Yep, it's on Switch. I'm playing it on Switch. I played a couple hours on Switch, but I beat this game probably like 6 times anyway, so I know how the story goes. I'm already kind of feeling out the combat and everything. It's still a dated game, but this still, it's legend. Like it says, experience a legendary story. It is. That's not a hyperbole. It is one of the best Star Wars games of all time. This and I think Jedi Knight 2 are 2 of my favorite Star Wars games. And Shadows of the Old Republic.
For some reason they won't release. They give us Jedi Outcast.
Yeah, I know, right? Shadows of the Empire is another one that I really loved, but it's even more dated than this game. So I can't wait for the remaster, so that way another generation can experience the story without feeling like they're going back in time when it comes to gaming. But plays well on Switch.
Does it run on Switch? Does it run well? Yeah.
Yeah, it runs well.
Handheld, I assume, so that it doesn't look so terrible.
Playing it in handheld doesn't look as bad. I don't know the frame rate offhand. I don't think it's 60, but I don't think it works. It plays smooth though. I haven't had any chugging or stuttering or any weird like clipping or anything. So it's been, the frame rate's been smooth, so I can't really complain. I like it.
I like it. I love it a lot.
I like it a lot. Yeah, your next one is one I didn't get to play. If we're going, oh sorry, are you? Well, which I don't know which order you go. Yeah, If you're going from bottom to top.
You've been going from the bottom.
Yeah. Never mind. Never mind. Sorry, I did get to play your next. I did get to play your next one. Sorry, your next one's Ratchet. I skipped one.
We totally did talk about Ratchet.
I played Ratchet. I loved this game. Man.
Yeah. Fantastic game. I mean, it really a great showcase of the PS5's early life cycle. Really loved Rivet. I think that it was great introducing another character, and honestly, I could play a whole game as her. I would be fine with that. You know, mainly because we've been Ratchet for so long. It would be cool to just kind of to break off and have like a similar thing with just her. That's probably never going to happen, but it would be cool. Yeah. There's a lot to say about this game in terms of just how pretty it is. It's so beautiful. The art style really makes the PS5 sing. The game is not incredibly difficult, which is fine by me. It's incredibly accessible. They had a lot of accessibility features in there for like if you wanted it to be pretty easy. Like there's like invincible modes, and there's lots of unlockable ways to do a lot of that. And I think I ended up doing one of them just because I was like, why not? Not the invincible one, but I think by the end I just wanted to not worry about ammunition, and so I turned on the ammunition one. But great game, lovely game. I was a little surprised at times at some of like the things where like I would like fall through the world. That was a little surprising to me. But then Insomniac's working on like 17 games at once, and so maybe it should be that surprising. I completely agree. Shiny, colorful, beautiful game. Totally recommend it to anybody who's got a PS5. I'm going to skip my next one because it's higher up on your list. It's something that we both had on our list. So I'm going to skip it for now. We'll go with my next one, which is 12 minutes. And I put this on here. It's almost an honorary mention, but I really enjoyed it. It is short. It is repetitive. But it's very well done, and the amount of dialogue that they did for it being, kind of a very short, self-contained game. There's a lot of dialogue, a lot of different possibilities that pop up, and the acting in this is really good. We've got Daisy Ridley and Willem Dafoe, and I can't remember who the guy is that was the main character, but really liked it. McAvoy, isn't it?
Oh, it was McAvoy. That's right. Didn't even recognize him. The guy's great. Didn't recognize Daisy Ridley either, but great story, great twists and turns as you're in a time loop, and if you do things right, it keeps going. If you do something wrong, then it resets the time, or if I won't spoil anything. Like there's things that will happen that will cause you to basically go back to the beginning, and if you complete it, it's really like a 12-minute story cycle, whatever. But there's a lot of it's almost like a roguelike because you have to play it over and over and over again to get it right. But the other attempts, you're learning things during those other attempts that build on your future attempts, because your character remembers what happened. So you and the character are both learning things at the same time. Really liked it though. Yeah.
I know it was a super controversial game this year where it's like I saw like games as high as like 9s and 10s, and then I saw like a 6 from it as well. So I know that the reviews were pretty big. It's on Game Pass, and so I have it downloaded. But it's one of those things where there's just so many other things to play that I never got to it.
Yeah. I liked it. I mean, the only thing frustrating was I did hit a wall a couple times, and then I couldn't figure out what I needed to do to get around it. And the guides were not quite helpful because of the way the game is structured. But I do recommend the game, especially like I said, from a kind of mystery kind of perspective. I enjoyed it. Sorry, what I was going to say was your next one now is one I haven't played that I thought about playing. But your next one is...
Maybe you should snap to it.
Pokemon Snap. I thought about getting this because it's adorable. I did mount my Switch dock over here, and I think I'm going to use the other one. Or I have like a third party in the other room, but I feel like I'm going to dock the Switch and get this. And the other thing I was going to mention, which is something that I wish I'd played, is Super Mario Bowser's Fury. So I'm thinking about getting these games and like docking the Switch and like playing them on the big screen, because I feel like Whitney doesn't like, she has her Switch Lite, but I feel like she kind of has like separated the consoles into, no, this is a handheld, and no, this is a TV console.
For all intents and purposes, the Switch is a handheld.
It is,
in my opinion. But Snap is a game to play on TV because you want to play it with other people. It's one of the few games that my son has seen. I let him move the stick around a couple times last year. It was a good time. Very nostalgic. If you played Pokemon Snap on the 64, which I logged tons and tons of hours in, it is not any real improvement over the original, other than graphically it obviously looks better. I think that it fell short in a lot of ways, where it didn't have some of the cool stuff that happened in the original one, some of the comical things that you could do. Famously, like, you could like make a Pokemon angry and they would evolve, or you could like knock I remember like knocking like Charmeleon or something into a fire pit, and then he like flew out as Charizard or something like that. I'm trying to remember the 64 version. It's been a long time. It lacks a lot of that, but it doesn't matter. It's still just vibes. It's all about vibes of following Pokemon around, taking pictures. That's really it. I think we logged like 30 or 40 hours into it, just replaying levels over and over again, because we became not total completionists, but completionists in the sense that we wanted to get, there was like 4 different poses for each Pokemon, or 4 different stars that you could get for different Pokemon poses, and so we wanted to get the 2-star, the 3-star, the 4-star, and we tried to get them without looking most of them up, and we did a lot of them. It was pretty surprising. We fell off of it. We came back whenever they added some free content here recently. Played a couple levels, but it was a lot of fun. Definitely one that you should just play with somebody. Play with your kid, play with your spouse. Just have some fun taking pictures, because again, that's the other thing, is it's not technically hard. There's nothing really hard about it. You just point and click and can have fun, throw apples, and do your thing. So a lot of fun, good time. You should definitely get Mario as well. That didn't make my list for the favorite games, but I did play that with her as well. It's couch co-op, and so that's something that you can do together. I still need to go back and play that with Fury. I actually only played like the 3 games.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it, so that's why it was kind of like on my honorable mentions on that. My next game surprised even me, but it's Forza Horizon 5, because it is that good. The settings, again, also like you're talking about, the accessibility in the game, being able to make it easier, where it's still a challenge, but the game, if I'm going way too fast on a turn, this is the one that I always bring up because it's one of the things I struggle with. If I'm going way too fast coming into a turn, it'll slow you down, and so you can safely make that cool. Turn. Yeah, so like, and you can
turn that on too.
Yeah, there's different settings like that you can turn on to help you, which I think is kind of cool training wheels. Like, if you get the hang of that, then maybe you can adjust another setting and bring it down a little bit, make it a little harder on yourself in different ways, make it easier on yourself in others. It's so pretty though. It is so pretty. And racing games are kind of usually like that litmus test for consoles. It's gorgeous. It's almost too pretty as you're like blowing past these beautiful like landscapes, but as you're driving, you're kind of scanning what's happening around you, and you're thinking about everything else that's going on. I feel like I almost can't enjoy, it's so pretty, but I can't enjoy how pretty it is because I got to play the game. I can't slow down and like kind of like, man, look at that, that's a cool storm going on. It's more of a, oh yep, there was lightning, cool, and I'm on to something else. It's beautiful though. I love it. Yeah,
it's one that I have downloaded. Got Game Pass because you got it. But I literally downloaded it during that course, and I was playing something else. I was playing Metroid, And I was gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna play through Metroid, and I'm gonna play some Forza, and I'm gonna roll right into Halo, and then 343 dropped that like Halo Infinite early, and it became like a sorry Forza, you know, I'll play it sometime because I've heard it's accessible for people who aren't big racing sims fans. Like, you can make it as easy or as hard as you want in terms of like modifying your car and all that stuff. Because I don't know anything about cars. I don't understand anything about cars. I don't. I like pretty ones. I know that I like GTRs because I think they look cool. I've always wanted a GTR. I'm never going to get one because I don't think I could truly appreciate it as much as somebody who knows about cars can, but I love looking at GTRs.
Yeah.
And I've heard that this game makes it where you can just not do that and just race and drive. And if you want to do that. And so that was good to hear. And, you know, how often you get open world race car games. So cool.
Like, I've played a few of the Forza games. Like, I'm not anywhere near a car expert. I know some things about it, and you know, I can't drift or anything, but I'm a decent driver. I've been to a couple tracks where I don't feel like, you know, I'm scared of the machine, the car. Nah, I don't feel like I'm gonna die. I have fun. You know, like I said, I'm not amazing, but I know some things. I know how, you know, some of the differences in the cars and everything. Again, not an expert, but the previous Forza games were good, but it was too much like it was too accurate and too sim-like, which bothered me because I guess if I had a steering wheel,
I don't like Gran Turismo that much.
Yeah, if I had like a full rig, like steering wheel and like pedals and stuff like that, I probably would feel better about it. But using a controller for this, I prefer the more arcade style stuff. But it's really good, so I definitely recommend people checking it out. Yeah. So your next one now.
Could I possibly go through a single year without having a Final Fantasy game on my list? That's why Final Fantasy 16 has to come out next year, so as to continue the trend, although we'll see if I play Dark Souls Final Fantasy. But Final Fantasy 7 Intermission, more specifically. So if you're watching this screen, this is not Intermission. But Intermission was the DLC that was a part of Intergrade, which was the PS5 upgrade of Final Fantasy 7. No, it's Intergrade.
Oh, it's Intergrade. Oh, shoot.
Intermission is Yuffie.
Yeah, it is. So the trailers on this, I forgot. The trailers on this, almost all of them put them together, and it's really irritating.
Because it's all part of Intergrade. But
yeah, she comes out towards the back. Yeah,
specifically call out Intermission as the DLC because it was awesome. It was well linked. Yuffie was a super fun character to play. It was nice to flesh out a character that honestly a lot of people liked in the original game, but I thought she was annoying. I did not like Yuffie at all, and this made her more enjoyable. And For Condor, baby, I played probably 10 hours of For Condor.
I played more For Condor than I played the rest of the game. Yeah,
probably. It's so much fun. I could do a whole strat game or like some kind of multiplayer game around For Condor, but I liked that it was a nice, you know, just little addition to the game. It was extra story. It adds together how Yuffie's gonna kind of like come into our party's life in hopefully within a reasonable amount of time in 7R2
2023.
Yeah, let's hope so. I don't know if we get that lucky, but it was a lot of fun. It's so good. It looks great. It runs well on the PS5. And then honestly, if you got Final Fantasy VII Remake through PS Plus, you can now pay and get Intergrade for a much cheaper price. So you can upgrade Intergrade for pretty cheap if you got the PS Plus version, which Sony and Square being Sony and Square, dude, it's just so dumb that this was a thing to begin with. But it runs at 60 FPS now on PS5. It looks dope. I will go back and play Intergrade probably once we get a trailer for R2. I'll probably like go back and do that. But fantastic DLC.
Well, at least at least I'll have time to possibly platinum this before the game comes out. I got quite a few trophies, but like now I have to do the, I don't know if it's like
the hard mode, dude.
The hard mode.
You have to beat each chapter in hard mode.
Yeah, so I'm not even ashamed of this. I was playing, you know, like the kind of intro tutorial where Yuffie's going through like the warehouse kind of area and like to get to the town. I couldn't get to the town.
Yeah.
Like that's how difficult it was. Yeah. So irritating, but I may just like try to find a way to power through it because I want the platinum. Just to have
if
it.
It helps.
You know?
I don't think the DLC has a plat, just the main game. And so if you did okay in the main game, then you might be alright.
I'll have to check. I thought maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe it's when I thought that it needed hard mode. Yeah.
It has its own trophy list. I don't know if it has platinum, but
yeah, it may be that
Seven definitely does.
It may have been that I was mistaken and I started playing our hard mode because it's been a while. Like I haven't played this since. Like what, 2 weeks after it came out, because like I ate it up. It was great. Yeah, and I can't wait for the next one as well. So let's see. So my next one is also one that you had. So we're gonna have to skip that. So my next pick.
Still call it out. You can
still call it out. My next one was Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. We already kind of talked about that. So nod to that. So skipping that, it's Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, which I was very happy with and impressed with. It plays so well. The story's really good. For the most part, the characters are people are kind of doing their own version of the characters. I'll say Rocket is still kind of very Bradley Cooper. Drax is it's not as what is it, dry humor as Dave Bautista, but there's some similarities on that. Other than that, like the characters kind of have their own thing, which I really like the separation, not trying to make it an MCU knockoff or try to make them look exactly like they were in the MCU, like Avengers was. Really liked the game, much better than I thought it was going to be, especially after seeing the trailers. They pulled this one off somehow.
You control Peter the whole time, right?
Yeah, you do. You do control Peter the whole time, which a lot of people didn't like. I wish that you could switch it kind of like, you know, Dragon Age style, or, you know, maybe they each have like a certain ability that you need to use in certain places, but they didn't do that. Or they didn't do that. You just play Peter, and you may tell them to do something, but you're still playing as Peter. But really liked it. Great story. And made me like Peter again, because I don't like Star-Lord that much.
It's on my list for January. I bought the Steelbook. It's right there. I bought the Steelbook because I heard such good things about it, and then again Halo came out. So it just kind of got backburnered, but it's on my very first game to play. As soon as I beat the Halo campaign, I got it installed, ready to go. Heard nothing but great things about the story. Like, I've heard not great things about the combat and everything, and honestly, I'm probably just gonna play it on easy mode just to kind of choose it and play through the story. I think one of the best things I heard about it is you literally, like, they capture the vibe of the Guardians where they just never stop talking.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about that.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I think they did. It's a fun romp. Yeah, throw it on easy and just enjoy some Marvel fun, not necessarily Marvel Cinematic Universe. Again, a lot of people confused about that, but no, it's not an MCU game. So yeah, just enjoy it. Next one was on your list, was one that was on my list. So now we kind of come together on this one. How's it, Skyward Sword? Is that your next one? Did I miss one?
No, but that's okay. We can talk about Skyward Sword right now.
Sorry, yeah, let's talk about that
again. If we're going for the bot, I think you keep going to like the top instead of going for the bottom, which is where you started. And so I think
yeah. I've got two different lists I'm looking at here. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. No particular order of my list.
Yeah.
Skyward Sword, baby. So good. Honestly, underrated. I think, and I know it famously reviewed pretty well, but it's also famously, like, not quite as disliked as Twilight Princess is, which is also underrated IMO, but famously just, it was because of the motion combat and other things, but I started this game years ago, the original one, on Wii, and my girlfriend at the time had the Wii, and then we broke up, and so I lost my save file because it was on her Wii, and I never went back to it. I never had the chance, and so I am super happy that they finally released this one. I know everybody wanted Wind Waker and everything, but it's so good. I played it 100% in handheld mode. I played it with zero motion controls. It took a little getting used to because basically your right stick became the motion control of controlling it. But dude, such good fights. Yeah. Great fights, great boss fights, fun dungeons, annoying at times in terms of movement, but dude, the story is so good. Like, it's so again for Zelda, because story is kind of light half the time anyway, but in terms of story, in terms of villain, just so good. I'm so glad that this game came out. I'm so glad that you could tell Fee to shut up and not have her talk to you as much. Like, all great things.
Yeah, like Navi.
I there's very little that I can say that, like, I just dislike, other than that, you know, it had the motion controls and they didn't, like, bother reworking that a little bit, but they allowed you to control with the right stick, and once you got used to it, it worked. There was definitely some times in some fights where I died simply because I was fighting against that, but I would, you know, I played it again, all in handheld. It's awesome. I love this game. It quickly went up to top tier Zelda status for me. Not my favorite, obviously, but just up there in the list.
Yeah, it's good. I didn't play enough of it.
Had you played it before?
I had played it before, and I feel like I did the same thing on this one as I did the other one. I started to play it, I was enjoying it, and then something else came out, and I need to go back to it because I liked what I played. I just got sidetracked by something else, and need to go back and play it because I love Zelda, and I really liked what I played of it. But it did annoy me, like you were talking about. They kept the motion controls, and they didn't allow the right stick to be your camera movement, which is what I think we all would want to bring the game up to a modern, more of a modern scheme in regards to controllers. I've only got a few more left.
Gearham is so awesome.
Yeah. I've only got a few more on my list as we were trying to go back and forth. We had some doubles, so let's do your next one.
Yeah.
Tell me about Eastward.
So, Eastwards now. Back down there. Eastward.
I fixed the order now, by the way. Yeah.
I think Eastward. A lot of people got turned off by Eastward because initially it looks like a Zelda game, and it may have wanted to be a Zelda game in terms of like what it thought, in terms of a top-down Zelda. It's really not, though. It doesn't accomplish that at all. But what it does accomplish is being super pretty in terms of a pixel game, a super awesome original soundtrack. Such a great soundtrack. So good. I was upset that it did not get on the Game Awards list for best originals in the soundtracks. But it's a story about the world is kind of ended already, and you're kind of working your way to it and trying to like kind of reignite it. There's some matrixy seemingly things in there. Without giving away too much, but there's a lot of character dialogue where your character that you're playing, John, he doesn't talk at all. So that's where that silent protagonist thing comes in. Sam is your voice. Sam talks for you, and she always walks around with you. It's just good. It's really good. One of those games where, again, I think it didn't need to be 30 hours. I think it could have been fine at like 25, 20, but I was still satisfied by the time I got to the end of it. You spend more time talking to people than you do in the dungeons and stuff, but it is totally worth the $22 that it was. Great game.
Seems reasonable.
Definitely like one of the best indies that I've played this year.
Yeah, I like the art style on it too, so I got to put that on my list of games to grab because Seems like it's got some good vibes. I like the art style. It reminds me of some like what's the guy's name? Ralph Bakshi, like stuff from the 80s, like animated movies. But yeah, I like it. I like it. So go check that out. The cutscenes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like an anime Ralph Bakshi, like kind of like if Studio Ghibli and he like got together and did a movie. That's what it kind of reminds me of, in a good way. So yeah, gotcha. Yeah. Well, my next one is one I've been hooked on and I keep talking about and I had to put it on here because I'm addicted to it. It's Tribes of Midgard. I feel like the tightness in regards to the gameplay, the challenging elements of it, where you could play it, it will challenge you, and you could play it, and I'm not saying you're going to platinum it, but you could kind of be in there, play multiplayer, and kind of enjoy yourself and help people. The platinum's going to be a little more challenging, a little more difficult, but the game is so well made. Has enough of a carrot on a stick where you're like, you are getting rewards, but you don't feel like you need to shell out money for them, because there is some in-game, like you can purchase in-game currency with real money, but you don't really need it. You don't really need it though, in my opinion. I was really happy about that. I need to figure out how they did that, by the way, because like the floor just collapsed there. I got to figure out how to do that kind of trap. But I'm really enjoying it. I'm hooked on it. It's, like I said, it's challenging. It's not impossible. It's a roguelike, so you do restart. Basically, every time you play the game, you restart. There are certain modes that you can save and carry over. Yeah, challenging, well done, but definitely can be frustrating if certain people are not doing what they need to do. But I love it.
Those certain people.
Yeah,
it's a game that I'm not a big resource type guy and everything. I know that you've been enjoying it. And in terms of the combat, that part's the part that probably looks like the most fun.
Yeah.
Aspect of it to me. But I'm glad that well, I think the most interesting part about it is that you're hooked on a multiplayer game, which is pretty surprising.
It's cooperative multiplayer. I don't mind cooperative multiplayer. But yeah, it is funny because I don't usually go for multiplayer, but yeah, I'm hooked on it. There is a single player version, but I'm playing more multiplayer than I'm playing the other. Yeah.
Yeah.
So your next one is a series you've been really enjoying for quite some time. Tell me about True Colors, Life is Strange 2 Colors.
I never not talk about Life is Strange. I've played and beaten every single one of them. It did take me a while to beat 2. We finally beat 2 this year, actually. We kind of fell off of it. But True Colors was the first one that was smartly released non-episodically. It's still in episodes, but they released all the episodes at the same time. This was Don't Nod's first, or not Don't Nod. Don't Nod did not make this one. It was...
I'll double check for you.
Mess up. It was the other one, the one that made the spin-off for the original Life is Strange. Deck 9. They developed this one completely. The main character, Alex, is awesome. Great acting on her part. The first chapter will really hook you into this game if you play it. I famously play all of these with my wife. We've played every single one together. Which is a reason that it's always been a part of my thing. And at the end of the first one, she was like, I don't want to review it. Was a part of the trailer, so I'm not spoiling this too much by saying it. But she's like, oh my goodness, this guy dies, and I already knew that he died because it's part of the trailer. But the fact that she didn't know it, she's like, I'm just gonna be gutted. That's how good some of the acting in it is, and so. Yeah. It was really well done. Probably my second favorite of the series, behind the first one. Although the script, I will say, in this one doesn't have as much of the cringy dialogue as the original one does, where you can tell that Europeans were trying to sound like cool Americans whenever they wrote the first one. This one's definitely a lot more free flowing. The first one just holds that special place in my heart and has a twist that is not as seeable as this one, but great game. I would definitely, if you like the story, the choice-based adventure games, it should be on your list to play at some point. Yeah, will inevitably be cheap at some point as well.
I definitely need to play this. I played the first one, and I think it's that dialogue that you're talking about that was. I didn't mind it. Whitney was kind of I don't know, kind of rubbed her the wrong way. Yeah, so I'll probably play one of the other ones, see if she likes it. By the way, just a quick tangent. She's playing What Remains of Edith Finch right now and loving it. And that's not a game that she'd like heard of. And I tried to, yeah, it was really good. So just, I'll end it there, but I thought I'd bring that up.
If she gets into that one and she wants to play some other ones, I got a list.
Yeah, give me that list. Gone Home is also on there. Yeah, Gone Home is also on there, and I think Firewatch. Yeah,
Rapture.
Yeah, send me that list because I think she'll enjoy it. Yeah. So yeah, my next one. Speaking of games to play with a loved one, with a friend, I think even better with a spouse for some reason. It just resonates very well with that. It Takes Two, which almost got my top spot, and Game of the Year at the Game Awards, which you said this was your Game of the Year, and man, it's or it was, I should say, it was. It's not, but
it probably still is.
I am floored in so many ways by this game. You know, we could talk about like this, some of the dialogue out of the kid is, but the gameplay in this game, the parents bantering with each other, and the amount of genres that they dabbled with. Like, they're like, okay, this this hour section of the game is going to turn into this, and it's good. They were able to to do all these different games within a game, pull it off, make it fun, make it not too challenging. I didn't play a single part of this game where I felt like something was just made poorly or janky when it came to like these different kind of levels where you come up with and are doing a completely different objective or different style. I really like them.
It's now the game that anytime that somebody like comes to me and says, hey, I'm trying to get my partner, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my spouse, my husband, my wife, I'm trying to get them to like try a video game. What should I play with them? You should play this one with them.
Yeah.
Because they can literally, they may not like every aspect of the game. There's definitely parts that have frustrated her. There's some parts that have frustrated me. But this is a game where you can truly like you mentioned, the genre. Like you can play every genre in this game pretty much, like minus maybe first-person shooter, but there's third-person shooting, so you can still get a feel for it. There's platforming, there's puzzle solving, there's co-op, there's everything that you could want, and play that with them and be like, hey, did you like that section? Okay, maybe you would like this type of game. Oh, did you like that section? Maybe you would like this type of game. There's something in there to at least try for everybody. I do also think, if you have a really close friend, maybe that's something, but if you have a significant other, this is a game to play with your significant other. If it's not my favorite game of the year, it's my second favorite game of the year. It's really close now with my other my other favorite game, which probably people could figure out at this point. But we are, I want to say, a third of the way, or 2/3 of the way through. We're trying to finish it. I would say that's the only problem. It's a little too long.
It's a little long. I will also preface it with no spoilers, but you are the two characters, the two protagonists being a husband and wife who are on the verge of or possibly getting a divorce. Make sure you tell your significant other that you want to play this game with them and it has nothing to do with that. Because just thought I'd soften that. Because it may
have yourself a little discussion there, bro.
No, we didn't. We've been talking about some communication stuff, and then we started playing this game miscommunication. So the passionate book talking about communication and different things like that was really cool.
Strengthen your relationship.
He was great. It's so corny. I love the squirrels too. So I just wanted to soften it with that, however you want to phrase that, or be like, oh, you really like this game, and maybe you say, well, if you convince them to play it and you realize the divorce thing has happened, maybe just look over then and go, that's not why. Just I don't know. However you want to communicate that to your partner. Yeah, it's good stuff though. Now we get to one that I'd skipped. Nah, that's fine. It's next on your list. This is one that I need to play, and I slept on. Metroid Dread for you.
I think too many people slept on this game. This is gonna go down as the best game I've ever beat.
Dude, you're on the last boss, aren't you?
I'm not gonna beat it though. I'm so frustrated with that boss fight. First of all, throughout the rest of the game, Metroidvanias, we all know them, what they are. You're going through it. This game plays so well. It's tight. It's beautiful. She controls amazingly. It's really hard to go through a fight, and at least until the last one, where I would lose a fight and I would be like, it's one of those things where I talk about it sometimes. You get that gameplay where it's like, that was my fault. I totally messed up. That wasn't the boss's fault. Every once in a while, there's like a boss fight that had like a random mechanic, and that was frustrating and stuff. But the Emmys or the EMMIs that are chasing you, that you see just been on the scene, that added this element that hasn't been there in previous Metroids. It was frustrating, but in a good way most of the time. There was definitely a complaint where I just got mad that I slipped, my finger slipped or something, and I went slightly the wrong direction, or I didn't predict the right way. But the game is so good. It's challenging, it's fun, it's the right length. Like you could have 100% the game if you are good. Anyway, I'm not good. You could 100% the game in like 20 hours, but you could beat the game in like 10. So it depends on what you're doing, but I'm probably never going to beat this game because the difficulty ramps up so hard on the final boss, where everybody's like, it's about memorizing the pattern, and that's something that I've just never been that great at. I'm just not great at memorizing the pattern. I watched a couple of videos of the fight. I tried to kind of understand, and I still haven't made a dent on it. Granted, I haven't tried in a few weeks because again, Halo came up, but hopefully, maybe someday I'll go back to it. If I don't, I'm still extremely happy with my time with it. I'm happy that I got to the final boss. I could just watch the video at the end and call it even. I would feel no shame in that whatsoever. I don't generally finish these types of games. I'm not I like not famously, but maybe infamously like the style of Metroidvanias, because I think it's fun exploring the maps and going through them, but a lot of them are too long. Like Hollow Knight, I played Hollow Knight this year. Hollow Knight, another game that just plays amazingly. That game was too long. That game was way too long compared to Metroid, which just feels just way tighter and more cohesive. And like, oh, I just unlocked that. I can go do this. And while it's kind of the same in Hollow Knight, it's just not as straightforward as this game is. I'm really glad that it was successful. This means we'll probably get more Metroid. We already knew they were working on Prime 4, but this also shows why there needs to be side-scrolling Metroid.
Yeah, no, there definitely does need to be. Speaking of games that are the right length, my next game, Resident Evil 8, I think is also the right length. Not too long. People complaining because I think like if you plow through it, I think you can beat it in like, I don't know, 12 to 15 hours or so, depending on, how you do or whatever. My only complaint with it is that I wish that they showed, Lady D, the tall vampire lady, in like so much promotional stuff, but she's not your main villain. So I think that was weird. Yeah, I think that they didn't expect people to gravitate towards her and be so thirsty, but I think that the internet's thirst made it. We extrapolated that into thinking it was like the main villain, but they also did kind of lean making it seem like that. That's the only complaint that I have. If I'd never seen a trailer and I just played the game, it's not in the game. It's not apparent. It doesn't make you think she's the main villain. It's only the trailers. So really loved it. The style, the different houses, because there's 4 like separate like kind of things that you go through. Their difference in style, the characters are very well done, very well portrayed. Some cool behind the scenes stuff on the motion capture as well. Really liked it. I like this better than 7. and 7 for a lot of people was like their favorite Resident Evil. Not mine, but I liked this better than 7. Much more cohesive, and yeah, really loved it. Definitely not for everybody, but yeah, it's up there. It's up there. I feel like this, like 7 changed Resident Evil. For a lot of people, like people who love 7 who never played the other game, is like that's their version of Resident Evil or whatever, and it's so different. This is getting closer to old school Resident Evil. Still not zombies, but really good lore, really good story, and very some great portrayal in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that she even won like the best voice actor.
Yeah.
The one who played Lady.
Yeah,
Maggie Robertson.
Yeah, she's really good. She and the 3 women that played her daughters. One of them passed away like right before the game came out. But they've been doing a lot of like fan interview stuff and fan like signature stuff together. The 3 of them are great. There's a couple other actors in it that I think are just amazing. But yeah, she stole the show. She totally stole the show. Yeah. Even if her it's not just the character design, but her performance as the character, it totally nailed it. Yeah. Oh, and also, because I'm saying this because like it's not a big spoiler, but she's not the main villain, but she's the first like boss that you go through. So like you're done with that boss in like, I don't know, 4 hours or whatever, and then you got to play the rest of the game, and it has nothing to do with her. That was the frustrating part for some people. Anyways. So your last one, top one, tied, whatever. You're also hooked on, kind of.
Like I said, no particular order, but this probably does end up being the GOAT of the year, the GOATee. If it wasn't apparent by the fact that I've dropped every game for the last month and a half, and I've, other than playing It Takes Two with my wife a couple times as we work our way through it, this has been the only game that I have played, which is Halo Infinite. There are a lot of things wrong with this game, especially in the campaign. The story is not great. The map, they attempted to do something grandiose with the open world, and part of that is fun. The grappling hook is very Breath of the Wild like, and the fact that you can grapple pretty much everywhere that you want to go. If you see it on the map, you can probably grapple your way up to it. Yeah. There's even an achievement for like being high up in the sky and like having a really high view and looking around the world. There's an achievement for that. So that kind of expresses it. But for all of its problems, and they definitely have some battle pass problems as well with free-to-play multiplayer, it does not matter because the game is stupid fun. It is so fun to play. It's fun to play multiplayer. It's fun to play Slayer. It's fun to it's sometimes even fun to play Capture the Flag, even though that's my least favorite mode of all time. It's so fun to play. The Master Chief controls so well. The gunplay is amazing. You are in a different kind of fight. Every fight you're in, whether it be multiplayer or single player, I think that's really the winning thing about the single player aspect of this game is that you never know what 2 weapons you're going to be carrying because you'll run out of ammo. There's not ammo everywhere, so you might have to pick up a different gun and do something different.
That's cool. Yeah.
You don't know what the AI is going to do and how they react. The AI is surprisingly good at kicking your butt. This comes from a person who hasn't played Halo since Halo 3, and so I've missed a lot of iterations. There's some, again, disappointing things like the split screen co-op's not there to start. The Forge isn't there, which I don't know anything about anyway because I never did it.
Yeah.
But I don't care. I think that tells you something about how good the game is to play, is because I can sit here and complain about the battle pass. I can sit here and complain about the story, but here I am. I'm probably going to go boot it up as soon as the podcast is over. I want to keep playing the campaign. I want to beat it, and I want to get back to multiplayer, which is probably going to hamper my ability to play the jillion games that I have in my backlog also. This game is so good. They got so many things right. I hope that they have the opportunity to do the things. They said that they wanted it to be like a 10-year game. I don't believe that anymore after Bungie did that with Destiny 1 and came out with Destiny 2 like 3 years later. So I don't believe that kind of thing anymore. But I at least know that they are looking to expand on it. looking to do more. Everybody should play this game. If you like first-person shooters, anyway. If you don't like it, then you're probably not going to enjoy it. But if you like it in any capacity, I would at least play the campaign, and then the multiplayer is free to play. So even if you suck, jump in, play some Slayer, play some big team battle where the pressure is not really on you to be good. I think that's maybe where you should try out some multiplayer, playing some big team battle.
I'll probably do it.
It's 12v12, and so as long as you're doing the objective-based ones, you can still be useful in trying to like capture zones. You can still go stand on the zone even if you're not killing somebody.
I can accomplish that. I'm not terrible, by the way, but it's like against or playing with some of the people online, like I feel like I'm useless. Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah.
I bought an elite controller because of this game, and I'm not an Xbox person, and I've been loving the elite controller. By the way, there's some frustrating things about it, but this is a great game. It's a great game. I can't wait for more. I can't wait to see how they fix it and make it even better, because I dropped, from a multiplayer standpoint, I also dropped COD, which I put, I think, a couple hundred hours into this last year, so it's so good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be playing it soon. I don't think anyone should sleep on it. Like you said, free multiplayer, and if you got Game Pass, you can play the campaign. So, definitely something to check out if you've got an Xbox. That's our list of games for 2021, our favorite games that came out in 2021. Let us know in the comments what your favorite games are, and tune in next week where we talk about our most anticipated games of 2022. See you next time.
Bye,